kiss the rain. Ice runs in my veins. Oh, play it safe. I don't belong with your nobody who died and made you king of anything. You think that I'm insane? That's your mistake. Kingdoms rise and fall. I come to take it all. I take it. I've come to take it. Kingdoms rise and fall. I've come to take it all. I'll take it all. Storms coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control feeling my bones. I'm going for it, going for it. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne.
Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay empowered for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Tossing the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. I send the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast. And that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same. Cause that's what it takes.
Well. How's everybody doing? Happy Monday. What is today? 24th. Don't forget, guys, this is a holiday week here in the U.S. If I have it straight, we're going to be closed on Thursday, the market, and Friday will be half a day, stopping at 1 p.m. Eastern, I believe. So if you're outside the U.S., don't forget about that. Welcome to the Monday Meme Stock Madness. We're going to go over a couple different tickers tonight. Some of them I might own, some of them I might not. Some of them I just swing trade from time to time when the moment is right for the risk to reward ratio. And a lot of these I just follow for education, training, psychology, watching how the pumpers push companies with bad financials versus the shorts coming in with their negativity. You know, the truth is always somewhere in the middle. I try and stay in the middle. Try not to be overly positive or overly negative. But when I buy or sell, I always try and let you guys know, especially if you're in the Discord. And so with that kind of being set as a foundation, if it's your first time here, I do not short stocks. Never have in my life. Been trading 30-something years. I might do it one day, but I prefer to bet with the winning team. But, what goes along with that? You need to know when to walk off the field and watch from the bleachers for a while. And not every day is a winning bet for every stock. So what else can we say here? I don't short stocks. Nobody pays me. Everything you're going to hear on my channel is always my opinion, my DD, my reading, my research. And, from time to time, I'll reach out if it's something I'm not particularly familiar with. I might reach out to people much smarter than me and ask for their input so I can weigh that in my own analysis. But nobody ever tells me what to say on this channel. I know a lot of people think that, if someone has a different opinion than you, someone must be telling them what to say. Look, guys, the market is made up of millions of people with different opinions. Get over yourselves. Not everybody is paid, although I'm sure there are paid people. But just because someone might have a different opinion or the same opinion doesn't mean they're paid. Do we got Pond Prowler in the house? Yes, we do. What is up, guys? Check him out on YouTube, Pond Prowler Adventures. If you're looking for some little entertaining on the water videos and a pond prowler, love it. Welcome back. Anya, good evening. Baby UFO, good evening. I have GNS, Genius Group, up on the screen. I probably have traded this thing at some point in the last 3 years, not anytime recently, as you can tell from the chart. The why have I not been trading it? I mean, they had a 1-for-20 reverse split, as I recall, back in 2024, and split adjusted, it's fallen from $367 to 21 cents. Although they did have a recent rally in July, back up to $1.80, and it's currently trading at 65 cents. Why do I even bother with stocks like this, you might ask? Great question. We're going to get to that in tonight's video. But first, while we're waiting for a few more people to come in, I did do a video late last week on GameStop with some updated thoughts. And, I don't really know what else we need to say differently about GameStop right now. It was flat today, right? GameStop, $20.49. Hang on one second. Let me get the chart zoomed in here. Howdy. All right. $20.49. And yeah, we've been kind of hanging in this zone right above the new demand zone that I shared with you guys in my last video. And so we'd like to see this support hold right here. and then maybe consolidate till earnings, maybe till the next earnings after that. Depends. And then build a little base here and then see if we can get some upward momentum. And then cross our fingers that the market doesn't crash or that Bitcoin doesn't crash more. Because if one of those things happen, we're going to drop below this demand zone, in my opinion. I do own GameStop, and it's probably the one stock tonight that we're going to talk about that I own. And I like to buy down in these demand zones. I'm not a buy every day at any price type guy. I like to have a low cost basis relative to the chart. Wild Wendell, what's up? Anya says someone mentioned ONDS in the last chat and it took off today. I remember someone mentioning that. I remember. So that is GameStop, when I have something interesting worth saying, other than what I covered in the video a few days ago, we'll come back and talk about GameStop, but there's no need to talk about GameStop every day when it's just trading sideways. Buy when it's cheap. That's my advice. And know your risk tolerance and diversify. Man, those GameStop people get mad when I recommend diversification. Don't you know Warren Buffett said diversification is stupid? I love it when people take a quote out of context, like as if Warren Buffett owned one stock. And I'd love to see the case built for why Warren Buffett would be buying GameStop. Like, now you'd have a pretty strong argument saying only buy GameStop and don't diversify if you showed me that Warren Buffett had a large stake in GameStop. Then yeah, clearly you should go all in, right? Because the master has looked at management and the financials and the trajectory of revenue and earnings and use of cash, return on equity, return on invested capital, return on assets, and said, this is where we want to be. But, just to pick a random quote that Warren Buffett said and use that as your thesis for only owning one stock, you got to admit that all your risk is in one basket. We don't like that here. If you want to do that, I'm not going to go, I'm not going to come to your door and give you a chewing out. I'm just going to keep saying, diversify your risk. It's okay. It's okay. Doesn't mean you need to have 50 stocks. You could pick half a dozen that you like. Have a few on there that have long history of growing profits and growing revenues. That'd be a good start. And then you want to have some speculative ones in there. That's good too. AMC, speaking of speculative stocks, do you guys know I've seen 6 movies in the last 10 days? So whatever I say, and all of them are at AMC, whatever I say about AMC's financials or what I tweet about, I wouldn't even tweet about AMC if there weren't so many people just blatantly lying and resting their laurels on the fact that there's some expert. If you're an expert, if you have 2 degrees in finance, why do you need to lie about AMC's financials? I don't get it. If these people would just be honest, I wouldn't have to tweet about AMC. It just drives me nuts that we can't even get the very basic stuff correct, like saying AMC's interest rates going down. No, objectively, it is not. And factually, you can look at the debt documents. The rates are going up. And since Q2 of 2024, the interest expense has increased almost every quarter. From, it was $89 million. Now we're at 120. Now you tell me, we all know the debt is going down, right? That is a fact, even if it's just gone down a little bit. You tell me how quarter after quarter the interest expense goes up if debt is going down and interest rates are going down. Somebody is doing shit analysis, and it's not me. It's not me, my friends. someone also said in response to my tweet today, but after the vote, Tony, this whole interest expense argument will be off the table because the rates are going to go down so dramatically. And, I'm the wrong person to come at with a vague assumption like that, because you don't think I've got a spreadsheet already showing exactly every note that AMC holds, what the balance is, the maturity date, the interest rate, and the quarterly expense broken down by type of note. You don't think I know what the interest rate changes are going to be based on a yes or no vote? You don't think I've already calculated exactly how much the interest payment is going to go down or go up after whatever vote? And you just want to come on the comments and say, it's not even going to be a topic of conversation. It's going to fall so dramatically. Look, if that is what you think, wake the fuck up, guys. You're listening to idiots. Go read the documents. I mean, I could show you the tables again, but why? Like, how many times do we got to do this? It is true. It is true. If the no vote wins, the rates are going to go up even more. I mean, they went up in July. If the no vote wins, the rates are going to go up more. If the yes vote wins, there is one note, to the best of my recollection, one out of all of them that will get a rate reduction. And do you think it's the biggest one? Do you think it's the $2 billion note? Do you think it's the $400 million note? Or do you think it's the $140 million note? Which one do you think? Anyways, please, I beseech you, I beg you, before you come comment on my tweets, make sure you know what you're talking about. I love to engage in conversation and share discovery and share due diligence, but you can't come with vague claims that you're repeating from someone else. That is why you keep losing on your trades, because you're not doing the work. Baby UFO says, just worked up a sweat chasing a feral cat around the house. How'd a feral cat get in your house? 6 movies we've seen. Sorry, I got off on a little rant because these damn liars out there on social media drive me nuts. Just like, don't say AMC's decreasing its interest rate and you won't send me off in a tizzy. You could say the debt's down. Yeah, the debt's down $60 million. On $4 billion, it's down $60 million in the last year. You could just say the debt's decreased. I would have nothing to say to your tweet. But when people lie and say the interest rates keep going down, 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 while the expense keeps going up, 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 I mean, come on. Somebody's not being intellectually honest here. Going back over the last 10 days, what have we seen? Predator, Badlands, going back to the beginning of November, Predator, Badlands. We saw Begonia on October 31st. Predator, Badlands, Christie, The Running Man, Keeper. Don't go see Keeper. Rental Family with Brendan Fraser, highly recommend. It's a artisan film. It's a take your wife or girlfriend type movie. Sisu, Gentlemen. Why is no one going to watch Sisu? You want to see some Russians get blown up? World War II era? By one mad Finn? Go watch Sisu. And then today we watched Wicked for Good. And we've been doing a lot of homework too. Rewatched Wicked. We rewatched the first Running Man. We didn't rewatch any Predator movies. We've been really spending a lot of time watching Stranger Things because we have not been Stranger Things viewers, and we finally got all the way through season 4. So we are ready for the season premiere here in a couple days. And after we finished that, we watched the new episode 1 of Landman. That's what it's called. with Billy Bob Thornton. Anyways, Wicked, good movie. It's going to do great. We got Zootopia coming up. That one's on my list. I never watched the first Zootopia, and I'm not really, it's got to be an over-the-top good cartoon for me to go to it. But I'm hearing really good things about this new movie, Zootopia 2. So I'm going to try this week to watch Zootopia 1, and then I'll make that my barometer. But I am really looking forward to Avatar and some other movies later in this quarter. And remember, Anya says, I saw the one free episode of Layman. The one that we really want to see is Avatar. See a movie coming soon. I don't know about SpongeBob. I mean, if I have time, I'll watch SpongeBob. Hamnet, I want to see that. Five Nights at Freddy's. I mean, I played the game with my kid when he was little, and I watched the first movie. It was kind of a yawner for me, but I'll go see this one, I guess. Lord knows we need all the help we can get. Oh, and Marty Supreme. That Avatar and Marty Supreme are the two that I'm really looking forward to coming up. Marty Supreme comes out on Christmas Day. Oh, we watched Greenland also. You guys know there's Greenland 2 coming out in January. You're saying, what the heck is Greenland 2? I never even watched Greenland 1. You're right. It didn't release to the theaters back in 2020. Starring Gerard, what the heck's his last name? Gerard Butler, yeah. And Morena Baccarin. We've been catching a lot of Morena lately. She was on some show my wife was watching today, Sheriff's Country. She's in Deadpool, obviously, his love interest. And Morena Baccarin is the wife on Greenland. We watched Greenland to prep ourselves for Greenland 2 in January. We watched it this weekend, and it was kind of a snoozer, I'm going to be honest. I mean, fine performances by the cast. Gerard Butler, fine performance. Morena, their kid. The special effects, such that there were all good. But when you have a movie about a comet passing by the Earth going to do a extinction level event, I want to see some damn mayhem. I want you to break out that FX budget. Show me some real destruction. Don't give me a radio blurb that Tokyo was taken out, 4 million missing. I want to see it. Instead, we get these little bitty explosions falling around the car. Ooh, it's kind of a yawner. But I'm hoping that Greenland 2, maybe it'll do a little better. You go watch the first one and let me know what you think. It's on. I paid $4 for it, so you don't have to, but I found it to be a yawner. I'll still go watch Greenland 2. Tech We Love says Zootopia is over the top good. It was on TV for free this week. We put it on last week, and I was really tired. I put it on late and only caught like the first 10 minutes. I know there's one animal in there, a rabbit that wants to be a cop. That's about as far as I got. AMC stock needs you to go see movies, and they need you to vote if you're a shareholder. I am not a shareholder. I tried to buy some right before Columbus Day so that I could be a shareholder of record and vote, even if it was just a token handful. But I guess because of that damn Columbus Day, they didn't settle my shares in time. So no vote, no votey here. I will be doing a live stream that day on December 10th, 1 p.m. It's already scheduled and up. This is going to be make or break for AMC, how this vote goes. So all I'll say is choose wisely, friends. Choose wisely. I get a lot of questions. Have you bought back in yet? No, not yet. I need to see some of these risk items get out of the way. I don't know. What if people vote not to allow the company to raise capital? I don't want to own it if that's the case. If they vote to allow the company to raise capital, then I probably will buy some at some point when I can determine how much capital is needed and when. But there are some unknowns that I'm watching. All right, that's about all I got to say for AMC, unless you wanna see the spreadsheet on you want to see the spreadsheet, don't you? On movies. How we doing? How we doing on Q4? Google Sheets. Come on, baby. And then we'll move on to the next ticker. So many tabs on this spreadsheet. All right, we want to look at Q4 2025. Here we go. So this column is kind of before the quarter, you know, what I forecast that the movies are going to do. And then this column is the actual. Everything here in the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, these were carryovers from the last quarter. But we really start the quarter here. And if it's red, that means it did not meet my forecast. If it's green, it met or exceeded my forecast. And I try and make my forecast reasonable, not like pumper hopium type forecast. I saw someone saying today, Avatar Fire and Ash is going to do 5 billion globally. Like, come on, let's be real. I don't do those kind of forecasts. I'm like actually trying to forecast a number to make a trading decision off of. So for me, it's important to be as close to accurate as possible. But you'll notice a lot of red here. Like I missed just about everything to the downside. They did worse than I was expecting in October. Roofman beat by 5 million. Black Phone 2 beat by 16 million. Tron was a big miss. I had forecast 115. It came in at 73 so far. Black Phone 2 beat by 16. Regretting You beat. Springsteen, I missed it by 2x. I had forecast 50, it only did 23. Begonia, I went gentle on that one and it beat my expectations, so that's good. I really am surprised that a movie with Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons can only do 17 million though. Like, what is wrong with people? Tech We Love says we finally caught up to 2024. I guess you're talking about like on a weekly basis, right? We're not at 2.35. I don't think that's what you're saying. But if you look at like on pace, where we're at this point in the quarter, we caught up. Yeah. And I've done some rough calculations. I mean, there's a very good chance we could beat Q4 2024, which was, as Tech We Love says, 2.35 billion. I know it seems crazy, right? We're only at around 900 million. How do we get to 2.4 billion? If these other movies that we're getting down here to meet or beat expectations, it's certainly possible. Predator Badlands beat my forecast. October just sucked, man. Look at all that red up there. I got a little more accurate in November. Running Man, oh, that was a huge miss. I had forecast 100 million because of Glenn Powell. Josh Brolin, whatever. 27 million on Running Man. Sisu, we knew was going to be small. I have it at 8 million. Rental Family, I have it at 8 million. They're just in their first week out, so they'll probably get that. Wicked for Good, I have it forecast for the entire run. Domestic at 505 million, which I put a note to myself, 3-day opening weekend or 5-day, whatever you want to call it, 175 million. We came in at 150. So I was going a little bit big here. We didn't quite meet my opening weekend target, but 150 is solid nonetheless. Probably do another 100 next weekend plus all the sales during the week. So I am forecasting it'll bring in 400 million by the end of December. And then the rest, if any, will be carryover in Q1. Zootopia, I have at 420 million with a 3-day opening weekend of 115 and 300 million by December 31st. Sometimes I'm not real good at forecasting kid movies, so, I'd be happy to be wrong on this if you think that's too conservative. December, a little bit light, and we got Five Nights at Freddy. It'll do okay. It's not going to be a tent pole. And then we have Avatar. I'm forecasting 685, but only 350 in the month of December. The rest will be 300 million carryover into Q1. And then Marty Supreme, as we get a little bit closer, I'm hoping that I'll be able to bump this number up as we look at some pre-sales. But I don't know. I mean, it's getting great reviews, but that doesn't mean necessarily that people will turn out to see it. It's a movie about ping pong. But when you look at the list, as Baby UFO is saying, if I add up all the movies, all the big titles, and remember this is counting spillover into Q1, I have 2.8 billion. We're at around 800 million on my list. That means on my list, 2 billion still to go in 6 weeks. And then I also added this other little column, which you probably can't read. This is what I think is going to spill over into Q1. So now we need to subtract 600 million. Now we're at 2.2. We're at 2.2 on the wide release, my estimate. And then we add in all the limited release, the small films. So, add in several hundred million for that. I still think we have a shot at 2.3 to 2.4, 2.5, maybe. But people got to go watch Avatar. They have to go watch Zootopia, and they need to support Wicked for more than 2 weekends. So I'm going to continue to plead with you to go watch some movies. Because if we don't, then we got to have a tough talk about Q1. And I know some of y'all get really mad when I bring up Q1. I have done some forecasting for Q1. I mean, the carryover from these movies, that's 500 million, let's call it 600 million, the carryover from Q4. Then we get into movies that are slated for Q1. We got, what do we say we're going to call it? Let's call it 600 million carries over. Then what do we got in Q1? We got Mercy, which I have at 25 million. It's an IMAX film. Maybe I'm too low on that. Wuthering Heights and Goat, I have at 50 million. Scream 7, I have at 75 million. Hoppers at 50. The Bride at 50. Project Hail Mary, I'm hoping it does better than 50, but that's what it's tracking to right now. And so, I mean, I'm at somewhere around 1.2 billion, 1.3 billion for Q1, even with all the carryover from Q4. So when you see me tweeting and acting concerned about Q1, I'm not gonna beat you over the head with it, because we still have a few months for more movies to drop in Q1 and better numbers on pre-sales to show up. But I'm not just tweeting, without having done some work to have an opinion. And, if I miss something big, or you think one of my numbers is wrong in a big way, let me know. All right. Beyond Meat is, before we get into Genius Group, Beyond Meat is one that is kind of on my list this week. I don't own any Beyond Meat right now. I sold into the run-up here back in late October. And then, we kind of said, wait for the corporate vote and let's see what happens. That all of the items passed on that vote. And now it's at 86 cents. The board has the ability to do a reverse split. And I don't know when they will or if they will, but they have that ability. And they put out guidance for Q4, which is lower than the Q3 that just got reported. So I want to do a little bit of DD and kind of on my own this week and kind of think about where could this thing really bottom out at. Like I did a discounted cash flow analysis with a bullish, a base, and a bearish case. But I didn't really ask myself when I was doing that, what do I believe? Which is the right case? To answer that, you need to really get in the mind of management and what is their turnaround plan. And so I want to do a little bit of that work this week. And then maybe I'll have an idea if there's ever going to be a safe point to buy beyond BYND. Right now, I don't know. And I had to decide when I woke up this morning, did I want to start working on Beyond or GNS, Genius Group, to kind of do this deeper dive. And I ended up deciding to look into GNS because their CEO tweeted that a research firm had published a report with a $3.40 price target. Sounds exciting, right? It's at 65 cents. This is the report from Diamond Equity Research. What's the guy's name? Do I still have it up here? I think maybe he put his name down here. Maybe he didn't put his name on it at all. The gentleman's last name is Diamond. I forget his first name. And he is a CFA, but as I was reading through this morning, I felt like this report was very light on any ability for us to validate his $3.40 price target. What do I mean? Like, what do I mean by that? He has right up here, valuation $3.40, and he's got a revenue and an earnings per share forecast table for 1 year. So you're telling me that for the year, Genius Group is going to 3x, 4x their revenue from 7.9 million to 2662. 7.9 in 2024, 15 million forecast in revenue for 2025. And they're forecasting in this report 26 million with a negative earnings per share, negative 8 cents. Like, how do you 4x the market cap? How do you 4x the market cap when you're still losing money? And as we read through all of their plans for expansion, new cities, whatever they call them, buying more Bitcoin, new partnerships, all of that costs money, and they have almost no money. In fact, they just sold like over 60 of their 200 Bitcoin because they're short on cash. So I'm thinking to myself, there's got to be at some point they're going to need to do a cash raise. They still have 130 something Bitcoin they could sell. That'll give them another, I don't know, what's 130 times 90,000. Give them another 11, 12 million. That'll hold off any dilution for a while. They could do that. Then they kind of backslide on their promise to become a Bitcoin treasury company. So I don't know. There's a lot of moving parts here. And the problem with these foreign companies is they only report twice a year. And when we look at dilution tracker for GNS, some of the things that, I start out looking at before I go in and read an analyst report, they have 1 billion shares authorized that they could sell. So as I'm thinking about, all right, they want to raise money to buy Bitcoin. They want to raise money to expand. They have almost no cash. Where are they going to get this money? Oh, they got 1 billion shares they can sell. Okay. I see. The float is 87 million. Just a little bit of dilution, 1 billion shares authorized. Hunter Diamond, thank you, Anya. Good night, Palm Prowler. Cash position, negative 3.7 months. That might have been true, dilution tracker, but they do have on their balance sheet, they have very low cash. Let me make this a little bit bigger. They have very low cash, but they have digital assets. Where is... Oh, right here. There are other current assets. That is their Bitcoin. But they sold some recently. And it was tucked in. Sorry to use that phrase. Some of y'all get mad when I say they tucked it in the bottom of an unrelated press release. But that's what I saw here. Genius Group and Nuanu complete agreement with a combined valuation of 14 million to launch Genius School and Genius City in Bali. So here's an investment from Genius Group into this other company, Nuanu, a share purchase and joint venture agreement at a combined 14 million valuation and a 7 million purchase price. So I'm assuming they needed at least 7 million cash to pull this deal off, but there's no attachments, there's no filings, there's no share purchase agreement document for us to go read through. How the hell are we supposed to know what's really going on here? I don't. But tucked away down in here, this is why you got to read these things. I think this was the one. Or was it in the 8K? Let's check the 8K. That was that press release was November 10th. Oh yeah, it wasn't even in the press release. Sons of bitches, you scurvy dogs. You put it in the 8K, but not the press release. Has anybody been talking about this on Twitter? That GNS has sold off some of their Bitcoin? The company has chosen to adjust its treasury operations in light of market conditions and revised its strategy to minimize dilution of shares. We do like that, right? I don't own any stock, but I'm sure everybody is thankful that they're pursuing a strategy to minimize dilution of shares. They did that by utilizing a portion of their Bitcoin and cash reserves to cover short-term cash requirements for acquisitions. That's the Nuana. They sold some of their Bitcoin to buy this Nuana partnership, Nuana Creative City, 51%. As part of the strategy, the company reduced the Bitcoin from 200 down to 138. That means they sold 62 Bitcoin at a profit of $200,000. When the price of Bitcoin stabilizes, in their opinion, and downside risk is reduced, they will recommence buying Bitcoin. So I don't have any problem with this. I've talked about this a month or two ago. Whenever these results came out, like, yes, they are low on cash, but if they got in a crunch, they're going to do one of two things. They're going to dilute shareholders, or they're going to sell Bitcoin in their stash. And that is what they elected to do. They elected to, maybe these other long-term, we'll have to pull up their actual filing to see. I don't know where Stock Analysis has it. At any rate, they had a considerable amount of Bitcoin. And wherever it is on this balance sheet, they have been selling it off rather than diluting. But we still got to wonder, what got the price walked down from $1.92, and then here in the last week from $1.06 down to 53 cents in a couple of trading sessions. And I was looking at the short interest. I was looking at cost to borrow. It is relatively difficult to borrow stock. Chart exchange. So what is the short interest on this thing? 5%. It's not that high. There's a whole cottage industry of people on Twitter that are selling the billions of naked shorts on Genius Group. It is the one stock that is going to topple the financial markets as we know it. But, here on this channel, I look at the reported short interest for my trading decisions. So you can believe whatever you want. This is what I look at, 5.5%. More interesting to me is the cost to borrow. And it is pretty, it's pretty high. 20% is high. And it's going up. Which means what? Probably, to me, it means it's getting harder to borrow. But also, why? Why is it getting harder to borrow as the price is getting walked down? You would think that somewhere around here, some of these shorts that were shorting it at $1 would be closing around 50 or 60 cents. And as I was digging into that question, that why, I went back and looked at the historical short interest and historical cost to borrow. And these people have no qualms about high cost to borrow. They have no qualms I was looking back over the last year. Look at this. 40, 60, 80% cost to borrow. So I even with the cost to borrow going up, just looking at their past history, it seems like they're perfectly willing to pay high cost to borrow to push it down. And then, it's a valid question to ask yourself, why? Why is anybody shorting this stock? That's a perfectly reasonable question to ask. If you look at the financials, this is why we need to really understand this analyst report. When I look at the financials, he's got a $3.40 price target. When I look at the financials, and I looked at the most recent one and the pro forma, where they include bringing ERL back in. In general, revenue's been on a decline, but when they add ERL back in, that bumps the number up on revenue, but they don't really talk about net income. Net income's been going the wrong direction. Look at the share count. You wonder why the price is going down, ladies and gentlemen? Is it shorts, or is it the company has 5, 10, 20x'd their shares outstanding in the last 2-3 years? It's hard to get a sustained squeeze when the company's 20x in their share count. You feel me? Operating margins. Why would someone short this stock? Negative 400%. Profit margin, negative 700%. Free cash flow, negative 500%. Gary Gensler, explain to us why the shorts are attacking this stock. Do you guys look at this stuff? I'm not saying it's a smart short at 60 cents, but I can understand why someone might feel pretty comfortable paying 60% cost to borrow. These margins are going the wrong way. They were at 56% negative operating margin 3 years ago. Now they're at negative 450%. It is a fancy schmancy learning resort, Anya. You can go there and learn. You can get smart. Cash growth, current assets. Let's look at the working capital. At least, that's positive. They got a green check mark from old Tony right there. And shareholders' equity is also positive. All right, they got 2 green check marks on the balance sheet, but the big negative is low cash, which to me would scream, if there's a high operating cash burn, which we're going to look at next, if there is, that would scream you're going to need to dilute. However, they have the get out of jail free card of owning a lot of Bitcoin. And they sold 62 of them to cover their needs. Let's see how bad the operating cash flow is. Oh, geez. Oh, my. The first half of 2025, negative 14 million. Second half of 2024, negative 30 million. Negative 15 million. They're burning 14 to 30 million per half of year, and they've got 2 million in cash. You see why shorts might also be looking at this stock. This is not a company on the verge of greatness. This is a company, it's fine if you want to support it. They do have a lawsuit against Citadel and Virtu, but I can support a lawsuit with my tweets and with my, my likes. and my coverage of the lawsuit, if it ever gets off the ground, I can support a lawsuit without throwing money into a furnace. You know what I mean? I don't need to buy the stock. So then we get into the question, all right, Tony, if that's your kind of like top level analysis, like this is kind of a train wreck, how's this guy coming up with a $3.40 valuation? A great question. A great question that, what's his name, Anya? What's his name? Mr. Diamond? Hunter Diamond CFA. I'd love to have him come on the channel, or Roger James Hamilton, and talk to us about how we get to a $3.40 valuation. Now, I was hoping we'd have some big brains come in here and share your DD. And maybe, you know, if you're watching this on replay, feel free to, because one day this week I'm going to do a discounted cash flow and make some assumptions based on what he's saying here. But I'm just going to, like in this video today, since nobody's coming in here to say yay or nay about Genius Group, I'm just going to tell you a couple high-level things that I see. There's no comparison in here to peers. So how do we know how to value this company? There's no comparison to any peers. Look, you're a CFA. You know better. What's your name? What's his name, Anya? Hunter. You went to Cornell or somewhere. You're a smart guy, probably smarter than me. You know better than this. You're going to put this report out with no comps? There's no DCF table. There's no sensitivity table where we can vary some of your assumptions to see a bear, bull, and base case. Hunter, come on, man. Don't make me do the work. I'm just a dumb YouTuber. I shouldn't have to be running a DCF on this. I mean, Genius Group pays you to put these reports out, Hunter, right? This is paid for, this report paid for by Genius Group. It's a sponsored research. I think the company pays them $13,000, $15,000 a quarter for ongoing coverage. Yeah, talks about it down here. They've paid them, Genius Group has paid Diamond Equity $108,000 so far for coverage. I just point that out, not to say that everything on here is false, but it is good to know, is it truly an independent research or is it company sponsored? And there is nothing at all wrong with company sponsored research. It happens often in small cap companies. The only reason I bring it up, these micro cap companies, I bring it up because you guys need to know to look for this stuff. Because sometimes sponsored research is a little more pie in the sky than we'd like it to be. I'm not saying, you know, he probably has a case to back up his lofty targets. He didn't really make it here. He didn't make the case. He gave us a lot of what ifs. And I'll get into this, you know, in a couple of bullet points on a 5 or 10 minute video later this week. But he didn't do any comps. There's no DCF, discounted cash flow. And a lot of things that he's relying on here in his analysis, Mr. Hunter Diamond, CFA, is the outcome of multiple lawsuits. The company's suing everybody in the world. You guys, you've owned a few companies that have lawsuits going on. What ends up happening? They take years. A lot of them get thrown out, and the ones that don't get thrown out get settled. So you have to then say, okay, we have an uncertain outcome. We have to look at all of the potential outcomes and assign probabilities to them, and then discount the expected payout. If they think they're going to get paid $750 million, that is not 100% guarantee. You know that, right? You know that. If you don't, I want you to go do some work. You can go to Perplexity, ChatGPT, Grok, and ask it to explain why you might want to do a probability payout analysis on a corporate lawsuit. Why would that be a smart thing? Should I assume that the company's automatically going to win the maximum award? Or should I discount that? And what are the probabilities and how do I do that? I might do that. I might cover that in my video with you, how I kind of lay that stuff out and my analysis. That's my analysis. It doesn't mean it has to be yours, but you need to be thinking about these things. The management and everybody on social media, is including Mr. Hunter Diamond, are going to tell you, oh yeah, for sure. We got all these lawsuits. We're going to get all this money coming in, blah, 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 blah. We're going to buy 10,000 Bitcoin and Bitcoin's only going to the moon. I mean, he's making a lot of sweeping assumptions that there's no way to say what the accuracy or probability is of him being right on that. I'd rather have a really good discussion about how's the company going to start generating some cash? When's that going to happen? Why don't we have any revenue or earnings past 2026? Where's 2027, 2028, 2029? Why don't we have a 5-year table? Hunter, Diamond, CFA. I mean, I don't want to sit here and keep on picking on this, but at a very high level, those are 4 of the basic things. And when I read this the first time, the second time, I'm like, where's the rest of the information? Like, how do you get to your goddamn price target? You didn't make your case. They're not trying to make the case, guys. They want this box right here, 340. They want people to repost this. They know nobody's going to read. They know nobody's going to do any actual analysis. And this is how you get lied to. This is how you make bad decisions. Nobody's doing the damn work. And nobody will call these guys out. Hunter Diamond, I'd love to have you on the show. Let me refill my water. For me, why do I focus on stuff like this? If the company's crap, why do you focus on it? It's good to sharpen your pencil and figure out how to do this shit, first of all. I like doing it. I'm not a CFA yet. Maybe will be one day. But, I think most of us, if you're fairly good at math, you have the ability to look at a balance sheet, an income statement, a cash flow statement. You make certain assumptions based on management guidance about how revenue and earnings might grow. And you can create your own discounted cash flow analysis. I even gave you guys a video with a free tool to do your own. We need, find somebody you trust. And I don't mean these yahoos on social media that just copy this page, circle 340 and say, wow, to the moon. Like zero thought going into that stuff. This is how people get wrecked. Tech We Love says Joby is suing an individual. I did read the headlines on that one. By the way, they think GNS is going to. Some people think it's headed back to $10. I mean, even the analysts only said 340, but Short interest is 5%. I guess, I mean, you really need to push that billions of naked short theory to explain to people how this thing's going to $10. Even just looking at the chart, next level of resistance is around 320, 340, somewhere here, up here to $6 if it were just to go crazy. And all of these previous run-ups, keep in mind, guys, all of these previous run-ups were on a much smaller float. The same problem that GameStop's going to have on any future run-ups. These guys say, look at this box on GameStop. It ran up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boxes. Ran up 6 boxes, and my TA says that I just got to count 6 boxes up here. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to run up to $246. What all of these people neglect is that the float has tremendously increased. It's much more difficult to get a move up of that magnitude when you have dramatically increased the float. Dink says, I tune in, and Tony says, get wrecked. Yeah, we've been going through, I was hoping some smart people would come in here and give me the bull or bear case of how Mr. Hunter Diamond CFA came up with 340 for GNS as his valuation next 12 months, guys. I've read through this. I spent the better part of the day reading through various filings, and I'll probably spend the better part of tomorrow reading through them. I don't want to leave any stone unturned. I want to be as fair as possible. That's how I uncovered this little nugget that they sold off almost half their Bitcoin. I don't remember anybody talking about that on social media. At any rate, it's also how I figured out, like, they signed this share purchase agreement with Nuana, which is fine, but where's the damn document? Like, all right, so you're spending $7 to $15 million. Is that what the Bitcoin went to? I don't know. We can't just work, Roger, off a press release. Like, you got to file the supporting documents. I know maybe in Singapore he's legally not required to, but it's very irritating to me. We can't get these documents, and we got to wait 6 months to get an update on the company financials. It makes it really, really difficult for anybody to have a reasonable opinion about how to invest in this company. You're literally throwing darts at a board. Literally. Chaotic Good says, high FTDs, high cost to borrow, high short interest, but the short interest on this stock, Chaotic Good, is only 5%. That's the problem. It does have high cost to borrow. I did say that is good. They have a considerable amount of the float locked up in DRS, but there are 50 million shares coming into the float that'll be unrestricted in a month or two from ERL. That's going to pop. That's going to increase the shares outstanding. I think that this guy already included it, because you see here shares outstanding 87, and he is saying 142. So I think they already are counting them. But cost to borrow, high, that's good, 20%. Short interest is only 5%. And I don't do the naked short. I mean, that's fine if you want to believe in it. I don't buy stocks based on something that I can't see. I can see high cost to borrow. That's good. And FTDs, yeah, not really. 17,000 on a 80 million float. There's no FTDs. There'll be some. There will be some on this day that had these days that had the high volume right here. When we get the next report, there'll be FTDs for this day or this week. There always is on high turnover days. But then they'll be resolved the next day or two. You can see that when they get resolved, you can see it in the FTD change column. And you can use whatever definition you want for resolved. Some people like to say, oh, they just borrowed shares from the obligation warehouse, or they just kicked it down the road. I don't care how you think that they resolved it. I'm just saying it got resolved. So here they had 34,000. The next day, 33.999 were resolved, and the FTDs dropped to 453. As of October 30th, 17,000. But I mean, come on, let's be real. On a float of 80 million, that's nothing. So the best I got is high cost to borrow. And that kind of tells me that it's kind of a dumb short at 60 cents and a high cost to borrow. Like, why? Are you going to try and drive it down to 50, 40? But they might. They might. Yeah, they evade reg show with swaps. They certainly could. They certainly could do a lot of evasion and hiding of data. And so I look at all of this data and I figure out what over the last 4 years has made the most, what's been the most reliable data to look at for my trading decisions. I've found, like, looking at FTDs in isolation. I think you're saying in the comments, you got to look at everything together. That I agree with a lot more. When you're looking at FTDs in isolation, when you get a good combination of high cost to borrow and high short interest, you really start getting my attention. And high FTDs, and then you know you got friction on top of high cost to borrow and high short interest, then yes, it gets even more exciting. Joby, getting back to Joby before we wrap up tonight. Joby, was it Joby that got sued by Archer, or Archer got sued by Joby? Joby takes Archer to court. Now, I have done some coverage on Joby and Archer about 2 years ago. And I decided, look, I love the tech. I hope I'm still alive when we have air taxis. I hope this technology makes it and that I get to experience it before I die. Honey, you want to go downtown for dinner? Skip all the traffic. Call a Joby. Get on the app. We'll meet it at the designated spot, the tennis court in our neighborhood, in your driveway, and fly to the rooftop of the skyscraper downtown where we want to have dinner. I don't know how it's going to be, but I like the technology of Joby and Archer. But someone left a company, the complaint targets Archer and focuses on a recent hire who once worked at Joby. And they are alleging that this guy took corporate secrets with him related to, I think, getting some permits or contracts with the city of New York or New Jersey, if I'm not mistaken. Joby says he took files that held details on plans, deal terms, and aircraft traits. And he used that data to push to land work with a real estate group. Yeah, probably a real estate group that's like going to build a landing pad or something for these things. Anyways, exciting corporate intrigue. Investors can watch for new court filings and track how each firm guides on spending and progress. The next court date in 2026 may shape the legal path. What I was going to say about these companies, Archer and Joby both, when I did my first coverage on them a couple years ago, I decided at that time they weren't investable for me at that moment. And I don't know, it was probably, September 2023, somewhere around here when I was looking at them and did my videos. And they did come down, but I mean, they've gone up way past my initial coverage. So, you know, maybe I should have thrown a little bit at it. But the thing that I'm looking at on these companies is we have no revenue. When I say it's uninvestable, you're talking like an EV car company that hasn't monetized their product yet. Basically no revenue. And expenses, net income, negative 400 million. Cash flow, negative 130, 100, let's call it 100 million per quarter. It'd be nice to find that sweet spot right between when they're about to monetize the product and when they're done with the worst of the dilution or the cash raise. But I probably need to pay closer attention to it. That's Joby. It's had a great run up. And Archer, similar. They had that same rundown from late 2023. God dang it, man. I should have set some damn alerts. But even I would have set my alert down here, not up here. And then boom, off to the races. All right, so we'll keep an eye on that lawsuit. Thanks for pointing that out. Relative to any of the tickers we talked about today, AMC, GameStop, Beyond, Genius Group, do y'all have any final questions? Because I need to, I guess, go try and watch Zootopia before I get too sleepy. We only got a couple days before Zootopia 2, and I'm running out of movies to go watch. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your time tonight. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see ya here soon on the next video. Take care. We've been waiting for so long that this rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground. Edgy's games are